is the PlayStation 1. And today I want to talk about Japanese PlayStation 1 games that I have in my collection. I've been collecting PlayStation 1 games for a really long time, more than 10 years, maybe like 15 years or so. But recently, in a last couple of months, I got a bunch of Japanese PS1 games. And I would like to talk to you about them because I think I found them really cool, really interesting. There's a lot of interesting games on there. And also, they are pretty cheap to get. So these, for the most part, I think come from two packages that I bought pretty recently, and I think they are really good, interesting. This PlayStation 1 cannot play them, but I actually have a modded PS1 that I recently fixed, and then those PS1s can play the Japanese games as well. So, without further ado, I would like to talk to you about the PS1 games. I think it's gonna be a two-parter, because I do have a lot of them, but it's gonna be too much for one video. So let's start and talk about my first PS1 Japanese game, and it's a bit of a boring one. It's Ace Combat. It's actually in English, which I was pretty surprised to find out that the game itself is completely in English. Then I tried to find list where they can show you like which Japanese games to buy, which have English language, and I didn't really go much further than that. But Ace Combat, it's a big series, it's still going on. This is a pretty nice copy. These are like sleeves that they have with Japanese games, so they put them on the end label, and this is how they put them together. This is like an advertisement, and this is the game itself, and it's really cool. It has this etching that you can see. It's almost like 3D on the CD itself. And, PS1 games with the black bottom and, Ace Combat. One thing that I really love about buying Japanese games, a lot of times they are really cheap. But also what's really fun about them is that they keep all the extra paperwork in there. Japanese are just really, really careful with their games and careful about preserving them. So I think all of my PS1 games are in pretty good shape. Some of them are in not the best, but this is what you get. And this is Ace Combat. The next one is All-Star Mahjong. I think it's called All-Star Mahjong. It says it on the cover. It was part of a big game lot. Like, I think that was like 10 or 12 games in there, and there were some standout titles like Ace Combat, for example, but Mahjong is really weird. I played them in the Yakuza games, and I have no idea how to play this type of like competitive Mahjong thing. This looks really cool. It's a nice one. It has the manual, which is also the cover. This is how PS1 games are in the Japanese version, although there is a lot of variety between covers and styles. But it's not really a game that is easily accessible, I think. I really, really don't want to learn how to play Mahjong because it looks really complicated and it's for advanced players. It's kind of like how Shogi is. I don't really have a lot of interest in that. Look at this old guy. Oh man, this other guy is cooked. I mean, it's just how to appeal to a lot of people. It's like, put a bunch of random elderly people and weird-looking guys there, and, everyone loves Mahjong. The next one is actually a classic game. It's Bushido Blade. I really like it. It's a fighting game where you play with swords. It wasn't part of any of the bundles that I bought. I bought this game I think in 2013 or 14 from the flea market, which was kind of weird. But this game is pretty playable in English, I think. It doesn't have English language, but even if you don't speak Japanese, it is rather playable. It's a one-on-one fighting game with samurai swords. I think it's a bit of a tricky one to play because you need a lot of strategy and basically just like one mistake, and with the sword fighting you can lose pretty quickly. You can get injured, you can get certain body parts disabled. It's a really cool and really unique fighting game. And Bushido Blade went on to have I think 2 or 3 more games. I only have the first one, but it's also a lot of fun. One game that's also really cool, it's Capcom Generation 4. This is also pretty playable in English. It has a bunch of classic games, or like older Capcom titles. So this is one of those bundles, or how do you call them, like re-releases, where they released a bunch of arcade games. Yeah, the disc itself looks cool. I think it has 3 or 1, 2. Oh, it says 3 title. One is like a horse thingy. I don't know, horse tank. Oh, the one is one of them is Gunsmoke. Well, I know Gunsmoke. Yeah, so yeah, this is pretty good, and it's a pretty valuable pack. I think usually it goes for maybe $20 or something. So yeah, Capcom Generation, it's a pretty good little bundle. Next one is Densha de Go. This is yeah, I don't speak Japanese, so I just know this game series. This is basically like a train simulator where you are realistically driving like a normal passenger train, and they even have like specialty controllers for it. They even sell them in bundles. It even says it like the SLHPH 00 whatever. That's the Densha de Go controller. So you have like speed, and also have the whatever lever they have. But you can also play it with the controller, although it's like really precise. So it is really simulator game. So it says hardcore, as you can imagine, having a game like this on like train simulator style. But the series is still pretty successful. There is like a Nintendo Switch game right now, even with the specialty controller for the Switch. So this is pretty cool. One of the games I don't really know a lot about is Dew Prism. I think it has a different title in English, but it's a Square RPG, so what do you know? It's pretty cool. It good looking. I like these disc designs. They are so cool, and Squaresoft did it a bunch of times, and it looks like something between the Mana games or Chrono Cross. It's a lesser known RPG by Square. The only sealed game I have for probably the entire PlayStation 1 collection that I have, this is Doko Demo. Come on, focus. Doko Demo Isio. So this is one of the games that I couldn't really play. Not just because it's sealed and I don't want to open it, but it needs the Pocket Station, which is a memory card slash little Tamagotchi toy hybrid that only got a Japanese release. I would really love to get one, because there are some games that you can play it with. I think one of the Final Fantasy has like support for this, and even in the European and US copies you can play the game, or you can use the game with the little Pocket Station. But yeah, I think this game is requiring that, and it's basically you can play the game on the go with the Pocket Station, and then it's like a Tamagotchi kind of things with Toro, who is this cat who's been the PlayStation 1 mascot for quite a while in Japan. I think they have been doing Toro games for a long time, until like the early 2010s. So PS1, PS2, there are even PS3 games with the cat, PSP also, I think. And it didn't really reach the Western audience. I think we only have cameos in like PlayStation All Stars and Astro Bot with Toro, but I have to say this is probably a pretty cool little life simulator or pet simulator game. The next up is Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22, whatever, I don't know, I don't really care about Dragon Ball that much. I think it's probably like a fighting game or something. The disc looks really cool, although it has like a injury on there. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, this disc is pretty much just it's not gonna work ever. I don't know. I can't really tell you about anything about Dragon Ball. I'm not really a fan. I know a couple of things about it, as much as someone who doesn't care about Dragon Ball can know. But this is one of the Platinum type of games, like a re-release with the PlayStation The Best, which is Japan's version of Platinum or Greatest Hits. I don't know what else to tell you about Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 20. Next up is a Dragon Quest title, I think. Something Dragon Quest 2, whatever. And weirdly enough, it was published by Chunsoft. I think they're known for Danganronpa, now AI the Somnium Files, some of these games. So I have no idea what they were doing with. Probably it's a re-release of like an older Dragon Quest. I'm not really up to date with my Dragon Quest lore, but I just love the covers, especially the Japanese covers of these Dragon Quest games. They are so cool. Maybe I'll do some research on it and talk to you about it later in a later video, because Dragon Quest is cool. I played 11, which is on PS4, whatever. It was pretty fun, but it's not really something that I want to play, although I do have another Dragon Quest game, and this is much more complete. It has all the manual, and it has 2 discs, and what I really love about this is just the colorful manual. So it's something that I really miss, having these games with colorful manuals. It even has like a little, I think this is like a registration form for the game. So yeah, this is Dragon Quest 7. One of the, I think there is like 4 big RPG franchises. So there is Final Fantasy, Shin Megami Tensei / Persona, there is the Tales of series, and of course there is Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is like the OG one, along with Final Fantasy. Square has both of them now. Back in the day it was only Enix, and then they had a merge. But yeah, Dragon Quest, I don't think it's that relevant anymore. Out of the 3, I think Dragon Quest is really stuck in this weird loop of not really releasing that many games. But I'm really looking forward to Dragon Quest 12, which has been announced. Probably it's in development hell or something. Hopefully we'll see something about it soon. One of the weird ones is DX... what's it called? DX Jinsei game, or the game of Jinsei. I think this is the board game, the Game of Life. And then there is like people talking. Okay, it's a board game. I haven't tried this yet. You can play it with 4 people, and I just love these disc designs. Man, they are amazing. This has the slip cover, whatever, on the side as well. This is also one from the best, so it's a re-release type of game. So it's probably pretty successful. I don't know. Milton Bradley, huh? So yeah, this is the Game of Life, I think, on PS1. And I also have another DX, whatever, The Money Battle. And it's like, it's a board game, but there's a castle. There is the wheel from the, so it's not like dice rolls, but a spin wheel thing. I don't know. All of these board games, man, I don't know. This is one of the weird ones, but the disc is really cool. It has these ridges, but it also has like a color manual. 1996, 12. So this is, well, not that early, because the PS1 came out in 1995, or maybe the end of 4 in Japan. So it's not that old of a game. Okay, we are getting into the weird territory. This is Gallop Racer, one and only Road to Victory. Oh, it's like Japanese people love their horse racing games. Although I think this looks pretty good, like a simulation. So I think you're probably not just like betting on it, because there is a lot of games where it's horse racing, but it's also not a simulation game. It's basically just like you take bets on it and you're trying to do a career out of it within the game. So it's all complicated. But yeah, Gallop Racer. It has a bunch of English text on the box. Gallop Racer, we realize your dream. The super... what? Thoroughbreds. I think it's not how you spell thoroughbreds. Thoroughbreds. Wait for your ride. Why not play the real 3D horse riding game? And the only one... blah, blah, blah. 3D jockey racing game. So yeah, it is... yeah, it has all the things in there. And look at the disc. It's also pretty cool. overtake and outrun in a single spurt. Wow. One and only road to victory. It even has a little blurb like Gallop Racer 2, 1997, 3D polygon real jockey racing and horse riding game. I mean, how can you say no to that? And the last 2 games I want to talk about in this video is the Gumbullet games, Gunbalina and Gumbullet. So Gumbullet games are, I'm just gonna say they are really cool shooters which you can use a light gun with. They are really arcadey. There's a bunch of mini games. See, you can shoot like balloons and whatnot. The only problem with these kind of games is that you really need a CRT television. Oh, somebody even gave you like the instructions, so I know like which menus to choose, and it also has pretty good like this matte white kind of disc. It's a nice contrast with the bit dusty but scratch free back. So yeah, Gumballina, and then I think the sequel was Gumbullet. Ah, look, it's really cool. So yeah, it's one of the nicest looking disc designs, and also I think this one has a really amazing, like really good looking little manual, and it shows you how to set up the gun comms. You can use 2 of them at the same time. I do have the gray one, so I can try and play this game because I actually have a Sony older Trinitron CRT. It's not a flat screen CRT, so I can play like Time Crisis and well, this one as well. And I think I have one of the other games on my like an American copy of one of these gun games, but I guess we are going to get to that eventually in the future. Well, thanks for watching, and look out for the second part for the rest of my Japanese games. Thank you, bye bye.